What's up, Scoop Podcast? I'm your host, Erica Krupin, and on today's episode, I'm doing a solo episode. I want to shine light on the word no, the power of no, getting comfortable with saying no, creating those boundaries for yourself, through other people that are trying to unnecessarily actively trying to affect your life or passively trying to negatively impact your life. So I just want to focus on saying no. So if you're interested in hearing all about that, stay tuned. If you were to ask my husband or the kids, they would say, Erica has no problem saying no. But that has not been true for a lot of things in my life, especially situations with, like, let's say, family, for instance, or when opportunities come up. I sometimes get FOMO because I don't want to miss out. I do love trying new things all the time, and as you grow as a person, as you grow in business, different opportunities can come to you. And with me, with the social media growing, a lot of opportunities are coming my way. So I have to be incredibly careful and mindful of my time because I have double booked myself. What about you? Have you been in a situation where you had something on your calendar or something in your mind, and then somebody else was like, hey, can you come do this? And you're like, yeah, sure, I got you, I'll be there, only to find out that you double booked? All right. And I'm guilty of this. I've done this just more times than I want to admit. And because of that, I've had people very upset with me. I've been very upset with myself as well. And I don't want that for you. And as my life goes on, and as the older I get and the more comfortable and confident I get with my decision making and talking to mentors, because I have mentors in my life, there's people that I look up to. And, when I first started this business, the pooper scooper business, I had reached out to some people because I didn't know anything about anything, right? And so I know a lot of you guys listening, some of you are old school and you've been with me for a long time, but there's new people that are coming into the industry. And I see the tags, I see the posts of like, Erica, I watched your videos, I look up to you. And I see that stuff and I'm like, holy crap, like this is crazy. And I mean, I love it, and I'm like, sometimes I feel like I get put up on a pedestal that I don't necessarily feel like I belong on. But I had people that poured into me as well, especially in the beginning. Jessica, she was a huge person in my life from pause to bark. Jim, Mr. King of Pooh, he poured into me. My buddy Jamie, he actually owns Turd Burglar that's locally to me, and he was the first person I reached out to before I was getting ready to launch my business. I just wanted to let him know I was going to launch, and I thought for sure he was going to be mad at me because we'd kind of be in the same area. He was very warm. He was very welcoming. Gave me a lot of insightful advice. Jamie Coons from Pooh Squad, he gave me. I'm sick. Bear with me for a second. Jamie from Pooh Squad, he helped me with, like, even my logo design, like my branding. I was going through like a brand identity crisis. So he gave me free advice and kind of helped me through that. And eventually I did what I needed to do and got the awesome branding that I have now. But it took a while to get there. Who else? Susan, from, I believe, Scoop It Dude. She offered me a lot of insightful advice with the dog waste station. She poured into me a lot. Gosh, who else? James Shields from Derby City Poop Scoop. We talked a lot about just managing the chaos. He was really insightful, and I enjoyed the conversations that I had with him. And now I feel bad. It's like if I say one, I got to say them all, and I feel bad if I'm leaving anybody out that I talk to. But these are the people that are top of mind that I still talk to, like, on a regular basis now. Jim will call me every once in a while, and I truly appreciate the energy that was poured into me, and then I'm able to pour that back into the community. So I don't know, I wanted to just shine some light onto them, and hopefully the information that you're learning from me you can take this and then you can pass it along and you can be somebody's scooper king or scooper queen, or whatever, whatever it is that I get called. You can be that for somebody else as well. We can just continue to pass the blessings down as we grow. So just keep that in mind when you are growing in business, and you know work on blessing other people as well. But like I said, as I've grown, there's a lot of opportunities, and I've learned, I've had to learn how to say no. And I was talking to my friend Trish, and she was really telling me about boundaries because I didn't really have very good boundaries, especially with my family. My family is like, they're just boundaryless. And I would say I'm doing quite well. I have a good head on my shoulders. And so when things get crazy or messy, a lot of times I get called to like fix things or organize things or maneuver stuff, and this is it's a common theme throughout my life, even like people around me. And I do enjoy helping people, don't get me wrong. But at a point, it's like I have to say no and just say, I'm not answering the phone. You have to figure this out on your own. And it's hard and it's hurtful. And I had to actually do this yesterday. I'm not gonna tell the whole scenario, the whole situation. But there's somebody that's coming from out of town into town that needs to come here very abruptly, and I was contacted to like facilitate it, like book the Uber, book the flight, book the Uber from the flight to the destination. And I declined. I said I don't have room on my schedule, I can't do it. And I kind of went back and forth with this, and I was like, well, Erica, maybe you should just do it. But I'm like looking at my calendar, I'm like, Erica, you have all these other obligations. You already have so much on your plate right now. The transmission in your truck is going, so you have to drop that off at the dealership. Then you get to the dealership, and the vehicle that they promised you, which was a truck, they don't have. They have some like Ford Escape, which isn't what I need to replace my scooping truck. And then that's not even clean, so then you got to wait a half an hour to even get it. And then you're having issues with your like Facebook and Facebook leads. Like you're not getting notifications to your phone about the leads, so you're not able to respond back to leads quick enough. And there's like issues there. There's like a disconnect. So I'm trying to like figure all this stuff out and clean this stuff up behind the scenes. And meanwhile, I have these outside sources that are calling and texting me, distracting me from what my primary focus is my business. That's where my focus is. That's where my priority lies. And that's what you have to figure out, like where does your priorities lie? Does it lie with your family, like if you're married, okay? Does it with your primary family, like your husband, your wife, your kids? Now what about the in-laws? When they got chaos and they got stuff going on, do you guys stop what you're doing and like focus on them? Everybody has a different scenario. Everybody has a different situation. For me, for me, at the end of the day, my priorities lie with what's going on inside the four walls of my home, my business, and my mental health. Those are my three priorities. And over the years, I've been able to build up blockers and blinders and allow myself to say no and deal with the backlash of saying no, because I want to make sure that I'm able to focus on these things. Now, I've had a lot of personal growth and personal development over the years. And there's some of you that are listening that might not have worked through this stuff. And you're like, I got these people, they always have issues going on, and they're always having to call me, and they're borrowing money, or they need me to drive them here or drive them there, or they make all these poor choices. And then they want to cry to me about it, and they want me to help fix it, and they won't even help fix it themselves. There's many different scenarios. There's many different situations. Whatever, plug and play your scenario or your type of situation. So if that's you and you're trying to figure out, if you're like, I'm just trying to live my life. I'm just trying to like figure it out. First thing I want you to think about, if you don't know yet, Where do your priorities lie? That's where you have to start. If all of that's taken care of and all of that's figured out, then maybe you can bring some outside stuff in. Okay. So even like with work, I have my main priorities with social media. I need to create for my podcast, which is the Scoop podcast. I need to create a video for the Poop Scoop Millionaire because now I've teamed up with the Poop Scoop Millionaire, so I'm creating content for them. So the Scoop podcast is a priority. Poop Scoop Millionaire. And if any of you guys are unaware of the Poop Scoop Millionaire, go ahead and click my link down in the description. It's a school group specifically for pooper scoopers. If you're looking to like start grow your pooper scooper business and you want some help and some guidance, that's an excellent community. And I'm really really happy to be a part of it. Um, and then creating content for like an extra bonus content for my YouTube channel. Like those are where my priorities lie right now. And then I post little reels and little things on social media. Like I got to post something every single day, which is not a big deal. That's totally fine. Okay. So if, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, you know what? I really want to create this like really good content for LinkedIn. Like I want to post something on LinkedIn. That's not part of my priorities right now at the time. So I can't worry about that right now. Like I need to make sure I'm recording this video for the podcast. Afterwards, I need to record one or two videos for Poop Scoop Millionaire. And then if I got a little bit of energy left in me, I will create an additional video for the YouTube channel. But I'm a little under the weather right now, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. So I know where my priorities lie. So that's the first step that you need to do. Write down what your priorities are. And if you can't do all of your priorities by yourself, list them from 1 to 10, 1 to 5, 1 to 3. Get rid of the ones or outsource the ones that you can't really take care of. Okay. Then, when outside sources start coming in trying to take your time, you've already been able to prioritize what it is that you need to focus on. And you just say no. You say, thank you for asking me, but I can't help you or I won't help you right now. I have my priorities. I have things that I'm already working on. And you might get some backlash. You might get called selfish. You might get called some words that I really don't want to sit here and say on the podcast. But if you're having a hard time vocalizing this, practice it. Okay, so role playing is a big deal. When I used to sell jewelry, I used to role play scripts, and I'm actually getting into this now with my pooper scooper business because I'm going to start really getting into calling the prospects that submit leads. Practice it in the mirror, practice it on camera of how to say no. And I know it might really sound silly, but I'm going to role play and I'm going to give you a couple options if you have a hard time with it. Me, now I just say, no, thank you. My husband hears no, thank you all the time. And he's like, are you kidding me right now? Or I say, you're making me the bottleneck right now, and I don't appreciate it. You have to figure this out on your own. And he hit me with that the other day. He was like, I asked him something. He's like, you're making me the bottleneck right now. Rude. I want you could practice that. Thank you, but no, thank you. Here's one. I really appreciate the opportunity, but I have to decline to focus on insert priority. So let's say that again. I really appreciate the opportunity, but I have to decline to focus on insert priority. Okay. Or here's another one. That sounds great, but my plate is full right now. And some people might be like, oh, okay, thank you for letting me know. And other people that have boundary issues that don't respect you will freak out and call you names or do whatever or keep bugging you. And then you just have to keep your calm, keep your cool if you can. Don't play into them. Don't allow them to nag you or bug you or guilt you into doing the thing. Because every single time you set a boundary and you allow somebody to break through that boundary, they respect you less and less, and you respect yourself less and less. And you need to have respect for yourself to be able to stay strong and keep pushing forward. And especially for men, men need so much respect. And a lot of the men that I have chatted with that don't have respect for themselves, they are doormats. Like they are literally walking doormats. And as a woman, I mean, this might be controversial, but there's nothing sexy about a man that's a doormat that can't stand up for himself, that can't say no, and is a complete pushover. And that's a conversation I had to have with my husband. I explained to him, I said, if you allow it, I will walk all over you. I will leave bruises all over you. And through the years, he's had to, like, I guess, check me and put me in my place. Do I like that? No. Is it necessary for me and my personality type because I can be very disrespectful sometimes? Yeah. And I get tunnel vision. I get just selfishly just focus on myself. But I had that conversation with him and let him know. But then again, I have to make sure that when he does that, I'm not like, what? You said what? No. So I have to check myself. Um, Sorry, that just got off on a tangent, but try those, practice it, role play it. Practicing is very, very important. And like I said, you'd have to protect your schedule. And if you don't have a schedule put together, put a schedule together. Okay. So you see it on your calendar. Mr. Producer, insert a screenshot of my calendar and put it in here so everybody can see my calendar. I have a calendar now. I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm supposed to be doing it. Okay. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, today was a little bit different. I'm running behind schedule because I really just had a really stressful day yesterday and I was really struggling. And I almost allowed it to ruin today. But I looked at my calendar and it quickly reminded me that I don't have time to mess around. I have priorities. Okay. And so I have my phone on do not disturb right now. And so I have some outside sources. I know they're calling me. I know they're calling me right now because they want me to do stuff that they need help with. They need to find somebody else. I'm not here to help. And I still am struggling. I still am struggling with feeling a little bit bad about it. But at the end of the day, I'm a priority. My family that lives in my house is a priority. And my business is a priority. And so if that stuff is not taken care of, I'm not allowing the other things to come in during my work time, during my production time. I have lunch in like an hour. Actually, I should be eating lunch right now, but because I'm behind schedule, it'll happen in an hour. I'll give them a call and then I'll be able to help and assist for 45 minutes and then after that, I'm getting back to work. And let's talk about like heck yeses and heck nos, right? When a situation comes to you like an event or a party or an opportunity, if it's not like a heck yeah, then don't do it if your schedule really doesn't allow for it. Here's a real life example of something that I do still have a slight bit of guilt about, but I made the right decision for myself. There was a birthday party for my brother-in-law's girlfriend. They were having a surprise birthday party for her, and I wasn't part of the Facebook group, which was fine. I don't check Facebook as much as I should, anyways. But I got a personal text about the party, and it said something along the lines of, um, "Insert person's names. Friends are throwing her a surprise birthday party at insert bar on this night." Well, I no longer drink. I don't go to the bar anymore. And it was at 8 o'clock at night. I go to bed. I start to wind down at 8 to go to bed by 9 because I like to be at the gym and work out. I like to get up at 4 a.m. and I like to be there by 4:45. Does that always happen? No, but that's the common, like that's what I'm striving for. So I thought to myself, I'm like, well, I don't I it's nothing against her or the people, but I don't want to go cuz I don't want to go hang out at a bar. I don't want to be up late because then I'm not going to be able to achieve what I wanted to achieve. So Friday night came around. I had office work. I had stuff that I needed to tidy up because it had been a very busy yet fulfilling week, and I didn't want it to carry over into my weekend because there was some other stuff that I wanted to do for the weekend. So I chose not to go to this event. I come home, my husband comes home, the kids come home, and I guess everybody was there. The family was there. It was a whole thing. But from that text message, from what I gathered, it was just her friends were going to be there. I didn't know it was a family affair. So I got a little bit frustrated with my husband. I got pretty like irritated. I was like, well, why didn't you say anything to me? Like, why didn't you say the whole family was going to be there? Like, that's a different story than just a bunch of people that I don't know throwing a birthday party like it was a family event, because there's different levels, there's different layers, right? Like, I might sacrifice a little bit of sleep for family, but I'm not going to sacrifice some sleep for people that to hang out with that I don't know. But for family, for like that camaraderie time to get together and spend time together, I may sacrifice, so there's different layers. So Josh and I had a little bit of like a conversation about it, and I was a little bit irritated, but I really sat back and thought about it. I was like, did it really matter that the whole family was there? Did it? Did it actually matter? Slightly, slightly it mattered because without hesitation, with it, if just being friends, I'm like, no, I'm not going. I don't care. But with the fact of family being there, I was like, oh, because I don't want to be the one that's like, Erica never shows up to anything. And then I don't get to have those memories and exchange those laughters with people that I care about. But I still chose not to go because it wasn't a heck yes for me. Um, so I want you to keep that into consideration as well. If it's not a heck yes and it's lukewarm and you have other priorities that you're trying to focus on, that might be an indication that it's time to decline. And then you decline with your message, your preparation, however you want to do it. No, thank you, not interested. I appreciate you reaching out, but I will have to decline. Have a good day, whatever. Or hell no, I'm not going to that. Don't even bother asking me. However it is that you want to decline, whatever your style is. And saying no isn't permanent. You might only have to say no for like a short period of time. So maybe you can get through a project, you can get through a fitness journey. Like right now, I'm having to say no to sweets until I lose the 12 pounds. I'm very upset about it. I'm very, very upset. I want the sweets. Okay. After I lose the 12 pounds of fat, maybe I'll be able to reintroduce a little bit of sweets into my diet within moderation. Okay. But I don't know. We'll see how that happens. Maybe you have to say no to going to a sporting event for one of your kids for maybe 4 to 6 weeks because there's a project that you're working on. You might have to say no to that. Then once you get the project done or you get whatever it is, then you're able to go to these projects. So it's not, things aren't always no forever if you don't want them to be, because you're able to change. You're able to change your mind later on. And also too, like eventually, if you keep saying no, people might just stop inviting you. People might stop reaching out to you. But then you have those people that are like super persistent, and you're like, no, I said I'm not giving you any money anymore. Don't send me Cash App requests. I'm not sending you any money. You know, type deal. So I say all that to say that saying no takes practice. Guarding your time and your calendar takes practice. But if you don't have your priorities set up, if you don't know what your priorities and your focus are, things can just get really loosey goosey. If you don't have a structured calendar, it's hard to stay focused and stay on track. It's easy to double book yourself when you say yes to everything. So just keep an open mind. And eventually you can say no enough, right? For a short period of time to then be able to say yes more and be able to give more. But if you just let everybody take, take, take from you, there won't be anything for you to give down the road. So I hope this helped somebody. I know I really struggled through this. And I still struggle every once in a while. So it's a good reminder. And it was top of mind for me because I'm going through the struggle right now. And I do have a sense of guilt, but your girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. Because if I go out there and help these people, nobody's going to come in here and record this video for me. Nobody's going to send out my messages. Nobody's going to make sure that my pooper scoopers are doing what they need to do. Nobody's going to come in and save me. So I have to save myself and I have to be very protective of myself. And that's just the way that I have to look at it. And unfortunately, I don't even know if it's unfortunately, but when you're trying to be successful and you're trying to make a better life for yourself, you do need to be selfish. And I will own that. Yes, I'm being selfish for myself. So I hope you guys like this podcast. If you haven't left an iTunes? Yeah, an iTunes review yet? I would greatly appreciate it if you did. I do have 30 ratings, which is really awesome. So if you haven't left a an iTunes review or an Apple review, I would love it if you would go ahead and do so. One, so I can read it here live on the podcast for you. And then also, it helps other people like you find the podcast. So I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Bye.